We don't live beyond what we think about ourselves. This is a quote I heard in church today. Time of filming is literally the 5th of July, and I'm in the park, something different. But I think it was a quote that really struck me because I feel like it's what I'm currently living in and learning. There's so much that I've learned already in the first 5 days of this month, and I've just been wanting to talk about it. So obviously I made some notes. I've been thinking about the power of the mind recently and like how much your mind can impact your experience of life. And the thing is, this isn't anything new, right? Romans 12:2, we know the power of the mind. Like you're transformed by the renewal of your mind, like your life, your actual life. I feel like when you read the Bible and you don't read it literally, it's easy to think, oh yeah, I'm transformed in a spiritual sense. That too, but like your actual life is transformed when you renew your mind. So this isn't anything new or crazy. But I think what really started this kind of like spout of reflections, some of which I'm going to share, was that I've been seeing the effect of people not being hindered by their mind. The first reflection of that, or the first remit that takes, is a couple of weeks ago was Cannes Lions. Now, if you don't know, Cannes Lions is like, they say it's like the Coachella for creatives. But it was a bit different this year because usually it's just like the big brands, the marketing teams that go. But this year it was creators that were at the forefront of the story. And that's a whole other conversation we can have because I love talking about the creator economy so much. That's something that we could probably talk about. But seeing creators that I follow, seeing their approach, seeing how they maneuver at the festival, they're very audacious in how they move. And it's kind of like, it's just been really inspiring to see everybody's learnings from the week and also the fruit that has come out of their audacity. And I was reflecting on that. I was also reflecting on the fact that the 1st of July for me was trying to bring new angles, but at what cost? Like, genuinely. The 1st of July for me was my 1 year like celebration anniversary of me working in corporate. And I was just reflecting on the year and like my journey into corporate and kind of as my mind was going, because my mind works in chains, right? So I'll link one thing, then I'll link the past thing, then past, and we're going all the way back. And I was thinking about how me being a very good, very obedient child, always did what I was told, didn't give my parents stress. Like, and this isn't even me gassing myself up. Like, if you ask my parents, they will let you know, like, I never gave them stress. I never had a bad parents' evening, never had a bad report card. I was never late for things. Like, if I needed something signed, they knew, right? Like, I was never difficult about that kind of thing. Because of that, I think it's made me very risk averse and someone who's very good at doing what they're told. Whereas I feel like people who take more unconventional paths maybe were probably the disruptors at school. Like they were the naughty kids. They were the ones who were talking back. They were the ones who were finding different ways of doing things. But I'm very good at following rules. And now this isn't me coming to say that I'm now going to start just being disobedient and like breaking the law, because I can go to jail. Like I'm at that age where I can go to jail. But I think it's made me very risk averse, which I don't enjoy. And so I'm thinking about ways that I can actively take risks, actively create opportunities for myself through taking risks. And so with that, I have taken a few risks in the past couple of weeks, and things have moved really, 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 really fast, like faster than I anticipated. One of those risks I took is actually a risk that I took today on, or in order for me to address some of the money mindsets that I have. Again, following on from being a very obedient child and like being good at following rules, I'm also someone who's not bad with money at all. I'm very good with money actually. When I get paid, every penny has a destination and I'm really strict with it. Some people will look at me and applaud me for that, but that has actually been a very dangerous and negative experience for me up until this point. And I think that's what I was reflecting on, because it's extremely strange to have money and still feel broke. And this is why I know you have to win the war in your mind. I was so good with money that I was living in a place of scarcity. I was living like this. My fist was very closed. I struggled a lot to give. If it wasn't in my budget, I didn't know what to tell you. Like it just wasn't happening. And I think that's just, it's not been the most healthy place, even though I was doing what everybody told me I should be doing right now. Contribute to your ISA, save up your emergency fund. And this is all really good financial advice. Like I'm not even saying don't do this, but I think for someone like me, I need to let go a little bit more in order for me to function, grow, live. Like make some stupid decisions, Kamsi, basically. Like, do something that somebody would look at and think, she probably shouldn't have done that. Because the fact of the matter is, at time of filming, I'm still 21. There's certain mistakes I can afford to make. And I really think you need to hear what I'm saying beyond what I'm actually saying. I'm not saying I should go and be an idiot. But I think for someone like me, who is so good at doing the right thing all the time, I need to do something a little bit wrong. And so, guys, today, I did something wrong. I sat in my living room, I cleaned out my emergency fund, and I bought myself a MacBook Air, a 2026 MacBook Air. Did I see this coming when I woke up this morning? Absolutely not. How do I feel after I pressed pay or whatever the button was? Guys, I've never felt more proud of myself. And it was like, it's weird how it took spending money to break the mindset, or whatever the mindset it is that I was experiencing. I had to spend in order to do that. I used to think the more I'll save, the more money I'll have in my account, so the safer I would feel. But I just spent the biggest amount of money I've spent in my life up until this point, can I say? Yeah, maybe. This is the most money I've spent all at once ever. And to say I feel proud is a deep understatement. And so it's like now in my brain, I've opened myself up to opportunities. Because in my head, guys, having that laptop means I can, like, you shouldn't ever miss me. You should never be like, where's Kamsi? That laptop, I'm so grateful to God. Like, I can't even believe that he gave me the confidence to just do that. And I think that this laptop is such a smaller representation of something way bigger. Like, I had to do the very thing that I thought would crush me in order for me to realize that that was the thing that would bring me the freedom I've been looking for. And I think, again, that leads quite nicely into the next point I wanted to make, which was like the way that I've been living my life. I think I've been very passive in my waiting on God excuse. And funnily enough, my church we just finished up a series in the book of 1st and 2nd Samuel. And like we walked through the two books. Well, it's one thing of scripture, but the two books. And when you look at Saul versus David, yeah, and the way that they lived their lives, if you've ever read that book, when the Lord is speaking about like David, or like the story speaking about David, something that you'll see quite often is like before every battle, it will say something along the lines of, and David inquired of the Lord, and David inquired of the Lord, and David inquired of the Lord. Like David was always at God's feet. Like, what is the strategy for this particular battle? What we did with the Ammonites might not be the strategy you want us to apply with the Amalekites or whatever. And so he was always at God's feet in that way. Whereas when Saul was told to wait, he said, no, I can't wait. I have to do this sacrifice right now. And by the time Samuel the prophet came and was like, what the heck have you just done? It was like, oh, like Saul is disciplined for being rash. And I think I was like, okay, I read that scripture and I just thought, okay, cool. Like I need to be like David and always inquire of the Lord. But sometimes I feel like when I inquire of the Lord, I'm met with silence. Not even sometimes, oftentimes. I feel like I'm met with silence. And so it's just like, it made me very passive, because when you couple that with that obedient child, scared to get things wrong mentality that I grew up in, have existed in, it meant that I was just like still for so long. And I would wait on God and wait and wait and wait and be like, God, when should I get this laptop? And I feel like I'm speaking about this laptop, but I don't think, unless you are close to me, I don't think you understand how big of a deal this was for me. Like, I'm just like, God, when am I going to get that laptop? God, please provide the finances for me to do it. Lord, please open income streams for me to get this laptop finally. Like, da 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 da. Meanwhile, I had the money. I've always had the money to get the laptop, but it didn't feel like the smart decision. It felt risky. It felt irresponsible. It felt wrong. And it wasn't until today that I just did it. And I was like, oh, like the Lord had always provided the finances, and he will provide the finances for me to replenish my emergency fund. This is what I'm saying, guys. I'm not anti like positive financial advice, but the money will come back. Another thing I heard in church months ago was that money is not a spirit. Like money isn't spiritual in any way. It takes on the spirit, the character, the heart, the mindset of the person who holds it. If you give money to a stingy person, they're not going to suddenly become very giving because they have more money. No, they are stingy, so they're going to be stingy with their money. And so it was like, God is just, I just feel like God is in heaven, like, Kamsi, you've had the ability to do this for so long. And in the name of you waiting on me, you did absolutely nothing. I have given you so much wisdom, because one thing I pray a lot for is wisdom. I've given you wisdom. I've also given you the book. You have the principles to make the decision. You know enough to be smart enough for it to not be the end of the world for you, basically. I've provided you with a job. Go out and do the thing. And so looking forward, I'm like, okay, cool. There's certain things I want to do, and there's certain goals I have and thoughts and all the stuff. And it's like, I will only go as far as my mind goes. That's something I'm so aware of right now. Like, sometimes I will ask God for things, ask him, should I do this, should I not? And I won't hear anything. And it's okay for me to make the move and get it wrong, because in his sovereignty, he will reroute. But sometimes I'll just do the thing and it's actually the right decision. Now I want to live my life in a way where I'm not trying to be stagnant. I'm not trying to be stagnant and just wait and like, God, open the heavens, or write on the wall like you did in, I think it was in the book of Daniel, where like the Lord was writing on the wall and they saw the writing and they were shocked. Like, because he might not move that way with me. I think with me, the Lord wants me to move and he'll meet me where I go. Some people need to slow down and stop, actually, and stop doing things and wait for the Lord to give them instruction. I think for me, the Lord wants me to go and he'll meet me on the way. And so I titled this video Win Your Mind and Win Your Life, because like it really starts all up here. And I'm just reiterating something that the Lord already said. So looking forward, I'm trying to take risks that will open up new opportunities. Buying myself that laptop means that I can be more consistent. Guys, I've even had ideas about posting things on Instagram. And I was just like, nah, I'm not doing that. Like, Kamsi, chill. But I'm trying to be quicker at enforcing the ideas I have. I've said it before, closing that gap between ideation and execution is so important, especially when the ideas might have come from God. They might not have seemed super spiritual, but it's like, he is the ultimate creator. He's the ultimate creative. And if I've thought of something creative on my walk home from the park, who else would be the source of that? Not me. I'm not that creative for real, I'm not. So if there's anything I want to do for the rest of this year, this last 6 months of the year, it's learning how to win my mind. If I can win my mind, oh my goodness, guys. If I can win the battle in my mind, if I can win against self-sabotage, if I can win against negative self-talk, if I can win against negative self-thoughts, if I can win against comparison, if I can win against all of these negative things, mate, here's to risk maxing and opportunity maxing and all the maxings. I'm still young and lit, man. Young, lit, and love the Lord. And that's how I mean to continue. But I've been yapping for 20 minutes and it's really bright outside, but it's actually 9 p.m. So I'm going to go home. You can only go as far as your thoughts take you. You can say all the affirmations you want. If you don't win here, forget it. Anyway, I love you and I'll see you guys more often by the grace of God, because I probably edited this with my new laptop. How crazy is that?